Hi, everyone. This week we talk about a couple of different things for Module 3. One of the things we talk about is accommodations, what are appropriate accommodations. And one of the other things that we talk about is what's the right recruiting methodology. Is it a good idea? Is it a bad idea to utilize staff and agencies? Should we use temporary workers? And in both cases, there is no single answer. One thing that you'll find as you continue to advance in your career, certainly as it relates to making accommodations, is there's no one size fits all. Every requirement is different. Every need is different. I can say that the laws are pretty clear about reasonable accommodations. Something that is completely unreasonable isn't necessary. For example, if you're trying to place someone into a role that requires heavy lifting, a lot of physical labor, and they are physically handicapped, there isn't necessarily what I would call a reasonable accommodation that can be made to allow them to perform that kind of work. So employers aren't necessarily put in a position where they have to do beyond any reasonable thought to be able to put a square peg in a round hole, if you will. At the same time, as we talk about staffing agencies, is it good to use temp workers? I've been in situations where temp workers were a common part of the hiring methodology. Certainly, there's a lot of seasonal activities, a lot of companies that have very seasonal businesses where Amazon's a good example. They may hire people on as so-called permanent employees, but they make it very clear that they are going to have a large influx of seasonal workers. During the holidays, they're going to ramp up employment significantly, sometimes by tens of thousands of people. And those tens of thousands of people know that there's likely a definitive end unless they're really a standout employee. I'm not going to go into all the trials and tribulations of that. There's a lot of material in this particular module as it relates to that. But I can say the thing I want to emphasize in both of these scenarios, there isn't a single answer. So as you go through the assignments, don't think about, well, there's only one answer to this. When you're thinking about accommodations, understand that the accommodation needs to be reasonable and acceptable. That there is some logic and rationale that can go behind it. At the same time, when you're talking about using temp labor, it depends on the situation. Is it a seasonal activity? What is the culture of the company? Do temporary employees fit well into the culture of the company? So a lot to think about there, but plenty of material to draw from. Don't ever hesitate to reach out to me if you need some direction or a little support in your assignments as you plow through them. But good luck, and hope you enjoy the rest of your week.